What is up, Jacob here. We have another reel video for you today. I hate when people post these videos talking about things you want to learn about and have a 3-minute long intro about what they're going to talk about instead of just talking about it. So we're going to dive right into it. Feel free to leave a like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff. It'd be sick if the comments down below just sort of become a forum for this video. So let's dive right into it. Today we're going to be talking about the Saragosa, the Slammer, the Saltist MQ, the Quantum Cabo, and the Tsunami SaltX. Now, the main three I'm talking about are these first three right here, the Gosa, the Slammer, and the Saltist. The Cabo and the SaltX are just two others that I'm just going to talk a little bit about at the end for those that love Quantum, that love Tsunami. I feel like they were the sort of comparisons for the Gosa, Slammer, and Saltist. Now, I feel like the Saragosa and the Slammer are pretty two direct comparisons. I got these from just searching Saragosa versus, because to me, which I have right here, the Saragosa is probably my favorite reel that I've ever bought. This is not a sponsor. This is not gonna decide if this is better than the other ones. At the end of the day, this is an opinion. I've never owned a Slammer. I also have a Saltist MQ right here, but it's the 4000 version, so we're not even comparing this model today, but I've at least felt the reel. So the Gosa and the Saltist are the only two I've actually owned myself. Now, my brother has a Slammer. My friend Lawson has had a Tsunami Evict, so I know a little bit about Tsunami. I know a little bit about the Slammer just from talking to them about it. As far as it goes, the Saragosa is really the only one I've ever had my hands on for like a long period of time. So let's just go ahead and dive right into some of the spec differences, which I want to preface that specs don't necessarily give the whole story. I mean, specs can tell you some things. I think the things that are great with specs are literally just weight and line capacity. And max drag as well. I feel like those are the three specs you should really look at when buying a reel, but at the end of the day, specs are never going to tell you how they feel. When it comes to bearings, there's going to be reels that have 4 bearings that feel better than a reel with 10 bearings, and why that is the quality of a bearing is a lot more important than the quantity of the bearings. And that goes with anything, not just fishing reels. Anything that has roller bearings or any type of bearing, the quality is going to be much more important than how many you put in there. So I wouldn't even look at bearings when it goes to looking at a reel, because I'm pretty sure that the Saragosa, which we can go look right here, so my 6000 has 5 plus 1 bearings, so 6 bearings. The Saltist MQ has 6 plus 1, so it has 1 more bearing, and to me the Saragosa feels better than the MQ. So, but I'm just going to go ahead and get right into the specs that we talked about: the weight, the line capacity, and the max drag. So I'm going to go ahead and explain the different sizes of the different ones that we're going to be comparing. For the Gosa, it's going to be 6000, 10,000. For the Slammer, it's going to be the 4500 and the 5500. For the Saltist, it is going to be, the 6000 and the 8000. For the Quantum, it's the 50 and the 60. For the Tsunami, it's 4000, 6000. Because that's all they offer. So starting with the smaller versions, the Saragosa 6000 has a weight of 16.4 ounces. It has a max drag of 22, and the braid is 290 yards of 30. Now going over to the Slammer of that size, it's the 4500 is what we're comparing. The braid capacity is only 250 of 30, so that is less than the Saragosa's 290 of 30, so less line capacity. Has a max drag of 30 pounds, so it has more drag, and it is only 15 ounces, so it is lighter. Right now we have the Slammer being lighter than the Gosa, having more drag, but having less line capacity. Going over to the Saltist, 15.3 ounces, so just barely slightly heavier than the Slammer, but also lighter than the Saragosa. The braid capacity is 320 yards of 30, which I believe is the most in the smaller version, so more line capacity. And then its max drag is 26.4, so about right in the middle of the Slammer and the Saragosa. So right now you can see that the line capacity on this Saltist is better than the other two. The weight of the Slammer is better, and I believe the drag also, the Slammer takes the cake on that one. So just quickly, the Cabo, where are these things? Oh yeah, right here. 325 of 30, so right about there in the upper. The max drag is 35, so that's where this one sort of has a lot of drag, and it only weighs 13.8 ounces. So this is much lighter than the other ones, and it has the most drag, which is interesting. The Tsunami 4000, it only says of 15, but that's only 300 of 15-pound braid, so much less line capacity. 14.6 ounces, so once again lighter than these three, but that line capacity is sort of insane how little line capacity it has, but a max drag of 50, which is interesting because if you need that much drag, you're probably fighting fish where you'd want that extra line capacity, which it doesn't have. So it's just a little bit interesting thing. I think this version of this is a lot more doable or a reel that you should even look at. I think the 4000 of this is sort of doesn't make much sense. But now going to the bigger models. So now going to the bigger models, the 10,000 Saragosa is 24.3 ounces, has 33 pounds of drag, and is 360 yards of 50-pound braid. So the 5500 Slammer, the braid capacity is only 335 of 40 compared to the 360 of 50 for the Saragosa, so a lot more line capacity on that Saragosa. 40 pounds of drag, so more drag, but once again, like when it comes to these drags, I feel like if you have more drag, you should want that extra line capacity. So it's weird that they are bumping up these drag but not giving you more line capacity. And then the weight is 22.2 ounces, so lighter than the Saragosa. The Saltist, we are going to the 8000. It is 21.9 ounces, so the lighter of the three. Its braid capacity is 280 of 50, so once again, a lot less than the Saragosa, but I believe 330 of 40, that is about the same as the Slammer as far as line capacity goes. Then the max drag is 33.1, so once again about in the middle. Actually not the same as the Saragosa. Quantum Cabo going over to the 60, 320 of 50, which is less than the Saragosa. 45 pounds of drag. So that's a lot of drag, and 24.2 ounces. The Tsunami. So here we have that 50 pounds of drag, so a lot of drag. 350 yards of 40, so a decent amount of line, but still not really compared to this 360 of 50 on the Saragosa. But the weight is only 18 ounces. So if weight is important to you, I think the Tsunami is something interesting to look at. Just because that is a super light reel for the amount of braid and the drag that you get. I'd be interested to see if the materials that it's made with are the reason that it's so light and that it might not last as long as, say, the Saragosa, the Slammer, and the MQ. But I've never owned one, so I can't tell you that for sure. That would just be my worry with it being so light. Now, after being all specced out, sort of giving some little winners in those categories. So in the smaller version that we went over, when it comes to the weight and the drag, the Slammer actually takes first place in those, with the weight, the MQ being second, the Saragosa being third, being the heaviest. With the drag, the MQ being second again, with the Gosa being third. And then with the line capacity, the Saltist actually being first, Gosa second, Slammer third. So as far as specs out goes, the Slammer actually sort of seems like the winner there for that smaller version. Once again, I'm not putting these in there just because they're sort of secondary things. I feel like these are the main three to really compare. Now, I know there's people out there that love their Quantums, love their Tsunamis. I'm not bashing them at all. I've just never owned them or felt them personally, and I feel like they aren't as bought as these three and are as searched. So that's why I am just mainly talking about these three. As far as the big version goes, with weight, the Saltist gets first place, with the Slammer being second, the Gosa being third. As far as the drag, we have the Slammer coming in first, with the Saltist and the Saragosa coming after that. As far as line capacity, the Saragosa actually like takes the cake there quite a bit. So line capacity, if that's something very important to you, the Saragosa is by far the best, with the Slammer second, Saltist third. Now, so as far as just picking a winner based off specs, I would probably give it to the Slammer. That being said, I really don't think you should pick a reel based on specs. I honestly think you should go to a local tackle shop and ask to feel them, feel what they feel like, because to me, the Saltist MQ actually outspec'd the Saragosa quite a bit. But as far as just the feel of these reels, I think the Saragosa feels a lot better. And as far as durability, I mean, I beat my reels to death. I've had my Saragosa a lot longer than my Saltist MQ. Granted, this is the 4000 MQ, so it is not the 6000 compared to my 6000 Saragosa, but this has stood the test of time a lot longer than my Saltist. This Saltist actually is great. It still works great. I've just have cracked a few things, which is probably just happenstance, and it just doesn't feel as smooth over time as the Saragosa sort of felt just the same as it did the day I bought it. So I really think when it comes down to it that you should pick your reel based off just your personal experience and going and actually feeling those reels. To me, it's the Saragosa. I've always been a Shimano guy, but everybody has their own opinions, usually based on what they have experienced in the past. And a good example for that is with this DOA Terrorize. That is a reel that I have friends that have absolutely slayed fish on, but I've just never thrown it enough or done well when I did choose to throw it. So to me, that reel or that lure does not feel that great. I don't like throwing it because I haven't caught good fish on it in the past. And that's not to say that the lure doesn't work good. I've literally seen my friends catch good fish on them, but it just doesn't feel the same to me because I haven't. It goes the same with reels. If you've done really well with reels, or certain reels have done well for you in the past, because some reels can, like one Saragosa can be better than another Saragosa because it just doesn't have that defect that that one had. So it's really more experience based for people's opinions. That's why I'm a Shimano guy, because my Shimanos have always done well. My biggest complaint in Shimanos has been their line rollers. On my Saragosa, I've never had an issue with that. It hasn't gotten noisy, it hasn't gone out on me, which is why I love that Saragosa. This Daiwa Saltist honestly beats like the Shimano Stratic. But as far as like these bigger reels, I really love my Saragosa. Now my brother loves his Slammer. He thinks that it feels really rugged and tough and will last a long time. That being said, I think the Saragosa does the same thing. Now, I've never felt the Slammer. I don't know if it feels just as good as the Saragosa, but I wouldn't choose the Slammer just because you think it's going to last a long time over the Saragosa, because I think the Gosa does the same thing. So I think that does it. I don't think you can go wrong with any of these reels. As far as price point goes, which I never mentioned, so I'm going to record that now and put it earlier in the video. The price of the Saragosa is anywhere from $270 to $400. The price of the Slammer is anywhere from $260 to $380. The price of the Saltist MQ is anywhere from $300 to $400. So they're all around that same price range. There's another reason why I chose those reels. The Quantum Cabo, I believe, is like $259, $239. Yeah, so $239, $220. So a little bit cheaper. And the Tsunami is $299. It says usually $399 or $299, $369. So actually a little more expensive, which kind of concerns me due to that weight. I'm really interested in why that reel is so light, and yeah. So if you have used the Tsunami SaltX or the Quantum Cabo or any of these reels, please comment down below. I'd really like these comments on these videos about reels or any gear to sort of become a forum for people to cycle through and just see what other people have to say about those reels, because I just have one opinion. There's a lot of opinions out there, and no opinion is correct. My opinion's not correct, your opinion's not correct. It's an opinion at the end of the day, it's not a fact. Yeah, that does it for this video. Let me know which reel you like best. To me, I'm still gonna say the Saragosa. That being said, I'd love to own a Penn, I'd love to own an MQ, I'd love to try these other ones out. I don't have a personal preference. If any of these companies reached out and wanted to sponsor me and give me free reels, I'd be all for it. So if you made it through the entire video, thank you so much. Like I said, likes, comments, subscriptions. It all helps a ton for growth, so I appreciate you if you do that. I'm gonna go ahead and give a little spiel for those that have followed me for a while and watched a lot of my videos. I haven't posted a lot because I just haven't really felt like I had time. I've been focusing on Lawson's channel and growing his channel because he is currently paying me and helping him grow gives me more job security. So that is where I want my focus to be, not on my own channel that's not making much money. But these gear review videos are really simple for me to do, and so I think that might become something that I do a lot more often. It's just gear review videos, lure reviews, reel reviews, rod reviews, just any sort of fishing review, because it's easier for me to sit down here, record a video. It's a super simple edit and sort of just knock that out. So I'm definitely looking forward to doing more of these. They seem to over time do really well. I mean, my most viewed video is a gear review video. So I know it's not what my subscribers probably love, but over time I think it'll really do great for my channel. And if that can grow my channel, it'll make it more easy to go out and do those other videos as well. So once again, thank you for watching the video. Appreciate you guys. Stay tuned for the next one. Comment down below what other reels or any type of fishing gear you'd want me to do a review on. I'd love to do that, do some research for you guys. Appreciate you. Peace.